Hi there, I'm Pia Maria Thorén. I'm the founder of Agile People, and today we are going to talk about the Agile People principles. I'm going to tell you first a story about how the Agile Manifesto was born. 20 years ago, IT departments were the main bottleneck in most organizations that were producing software. Often over both time and budget, putting software out into the marketplace, sometimes years after the original need was very urgent. And often that need had long since changed or gone away. Many different actors started to actively experiment with different ways of working faster and being more effective. And as a result, several different ways of producing software came into being. XP, Scrum, etc. So in February 2001, in Snowbird in Utah in the US, a group of software developers gathered to discuss ways to handle these problems that the software industry was facing, to discuss lightweight development methods. And as a result from that meeting, they published the Agile Manifesto. You can find that on agilemanifesto.org. In this manifesto, they defined the way of working for what is today called Agile software development. Some of the signatories of the Agile Manifesto formed the Agile Alliance. Some formed the Scrum Alliance. Agile Alliance is a non-profit organization that supports development according to the values and principles of the manifesto. The manifesto consists of 4 main values and 12 principles that made clear what it's like to be agile. And here are the 12 principles. I would urge you to go to agilemanifesto.org and read about the values and the principles. Or if you want to stop the video right now and look at them yourself. Lately, due to the jungle of frameworks and certifications, there has been a move towards simplicity in what really defines agile ways of thinking and working. And one such simple framework is the modern agile framework by Joshua Kurevsky. He's the CEO of Industrial Logic. And you find this one on modernagile.com. It has 4 cornerstones that would fit actually any part of the organization, not just IT or software development. And the 4 cornerstones here are make people awesome. And it's not just, you know, the customers and the employees, but it's all the people in the ecosystem. It's experiment and learn rapidly, deliver value continuously, and make safety a prerequisite. And we talk about safety here, we mean mostly psychological safety. And then we have the Agile People Manifesto. To have a look at that, you can go to agilepeoplemanifesto.org. So all these different sets of principles has inspired us at Agile People to really come up with a set of principles that we believe are more important than others. We call them the Agile People Principles. And I'm going to go through them together with you. The first one is about transparency. We need to increase transparency in organizations so that information and knowledge is distributed to everybody. Transparency can actually also be a very good control mechanism. Think about this example. If you have you know, travel claims visible and transparent for everybody, you can be sure that travel cost will decrease. Visualization is the next one. Visualize with pictures, images, prototypes, then you get a much better common understanding. In Sweden, we say, one image says more than 1,000 words. So it's kind of a proverb that we have. Trust people rather than distrust. We default to trust in Agile. We need more of theory Y leadership that makes people take ownership. When you trust people that they will do what they say, we get a much better culture and climate, and people will actually, to a larger degree, do as they say. The next one is about customer value, because everything in Agile is about creating customer value. And for HR, the internal customers are employees and managers. We cannot do everything at the same time, so we need to focus on a few things and make sure that we do them with good quality. We do this with, for example, tools like objectives and key results. We focus on 2 to 3 goals per 3-month period. We're going to do a lot of other things as well, but we make sure that the most important stuff gets done first. Relative goals, as opposed to fixed goals, which are more binary to their nature. That means that either you reach them or you don't. Relative goals are about continuously getting better at something. And then we get to continuous learning and continuous improvement, because a learning organization is really the goal with Agile ways of working. It's when we experiment and we learn that we grow and also understand what is not working. And then we learn again. Increase psychological safety. This is the one thing that is more important than everything else. There is a whole module about psychological safety, so I will not talk more about it here. Increase diversity, because a diverse team produces better outcome than a team where everybody is the same. And it's not just about external diversity, you know, religion, gender, sexual orientation, etc. But it's maybe mainly about cognitive diversity. How different are we inside? Things that cannot be seen or noticed on the outside. Working cross-functional teams, because when we mix competencies and brains, the value creation is higher and we constantly learn from each other. We use our collective intelligence in a cross-functional team. And if we can make that work, although our differences, we get a much better outcome. Empowered employees have the authority to make important decisions when and where it's necessary. But you should never empower without also making sure that your people also have access to the necessary information and competence to make the right decisions where they are in the organization. Sub-optimization happens when we prioritize our own department's results before the results of the whole organization. And this is something we want to avoid. So we say instead, we need to optimize for the whole and always think about the whole organization, the big organization. More experimentation, because it's when we try new things that we have the possibility to find new solutions and learn and get ideas for new products and services that our customers want and need. Trial and error is similar to experimentation. We need to make mistakes and learn from them. We tweak a bit, we try something entirely different, and that's how we maximize learning. Emergent goals instead of top-down goals. Work also with bottom-up emerging goals that come from people's intrinsic motivation. And what do each person want to contribute with is very important. So we learn and we set goals in a common direction, because we also link our goals together in this web of different objectives and the results, key results, if we work with OKRs, for example. Accountability and commitment means that we hold each other accountable, but in respectful ways. We don't, you know, do it in a bad way. We do it in a respectful way. We say, how can I help? How can I support you to commit to what you need to commit to? Authenticity. It's also about showing up as yourself, but also with respect for other people. Boundary spanning is a concept that we use in Agile. We cross-fertilize between functions, sciences, geographical areas, departments, and social groups, externally and internally, and cross organizations. We tell why and what and leave the how to the people. That's how we lead in an Agile reality and the VUCA world. We give direction, but we don't micromanage. And here it comes, avoid sub-optimization, which then is the other side of optimize for the whole. Individuals and interactions over processes and tools is the first value in the Agile Manifesto. And of course, I think this is the most important value of all the 4 values in the Agile Manifesto. Know people deeply, because when you know people, you start to like people. And then you also work better together and you produce better outcome, value for our customers. Peer pressure is actually not something negative always. It could be a good way to keep people accountable for results and make sure that they don't overspend company money or budget. Collective intelligence. We try to use everybody's brain in a company and think together. Then the solutions that we create become much better as well. Clear goal, simple rules. This is extremely important when we have self-management and self-leadership to a large degree, that there are clear goals and that we know what rules there are. We tell about the why and maybe about the what, but stay away from the how, if you're a manager at least. Stable and semi-stable teams, because teams need to become high-performing. You know, if we break up the team every time a project ends, then people need to get to know each other in the new project and in a new project again. But we know that it takes time for teams to become high-performing, and they have never time to become high-performing if we break up the teams all the time. So that's why we talk about stable teams. Semi-stable teams, because it's not good if the teams become too stable. Then they can develop this kind of we and them behaviors, that we are the best team, we are better than everybody else. And this is not productive either. So we need to keep an eye on that. Self-organization works when people have competence and information and a clear goal. Increase happiness. I don't have a comment to that, but of course, this is extremely important that we have happy people in organizations and that we can help people to laugh, have fun, and we do things together that make people happy. Give and receive positive feedback. It's about creating this culture where we appreciate each other. And as long as we focus more on positive feedback, it cannot be wrong. So use kudo cards or small tokens of appreciation, make it possible to reward each other. So it can only be a good thing. Make mistakes and learn from them. The core of the Agile mindset. Continuous improvement is built on mistakes. In an Agile organization, there is a lot more leadership because everybody needs to lead themselves and sometimes also others. So self-leadership becomes very important. Grow people becomes the main task of HR and leaders. Grow and develop people. A common direction, because we want to optimize performance towards a shared vision. Alignment we can talk about as well. Sustainability, a sustainable pace for the team is crucial to avoid burnout. Adaptability. We try to increase the ability to adapt all the time to unique customer and employee needs. Purpose and meaning. We try to tap into employees' intrinsic needs and connect them to a shared purpose that we all share. So here we can look at how can we share thoughts around the Agile ways of working. And this is an exercise that you will be doing in the session today. You can also think about some of the principles and discuss together how you can increase them in your organization. Thank you very much. That was what I had to share today.